Yikes. Yikes. Love is when women decide that something is no longer serving them and they get the fuck up out of it. Like, this is no longer meant for me. Gotta blast. I love that. Like, I love when women choose themselves, put themselves first. Like, I love that. Girl, look at you. Realizing who the fuck you are and realizing, I'm not gonna deal with this any longer. I need to get up out of this. I need to do what's best for me. And you did that shit. And that's why you a boss ass bitch, because you did that shit. You did that shit. Never forget that you did that shit.
And motherfucking period. And this.
Right.
Welcome back to another episode of the Do Not Resuscitate podcast, where we are pulling the plug on things that no longer serve us. We hope you all are enjoying your week, your weekend, or whatever it may be when you finally listen. We hope that you hear something that makes you want to come back and listen again. Let's get into these intros. As the T decides to fucking walk away. Go ahead.
Hey y'all, it's the D and DNR, Denise, aka your favorite international runway model.
Okay.
She put a little extra sauce on it. Right, period.
Hey y'all, it's Nicole, the N and DNR.
Hi guys, it's Rithia.
You're not gonna lie this week.
The N is still and T coming back.
Yes, I'm the T that is so conveniently left out of the chat. I don't even know what the fuck.
Here we go again.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Anyways, we got a special guest. Miss, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Our first guest of the show.
Our first invited guest, because somebody just kind of grabbed the mic.
Hello, I am Wrain.
Bring your resume.
I am a human life specialist, healer, model, Army veteran.
Yes.
Formerly trained marriage and family therapist, owner of the deckedoutdog.com, an exclusive online boutique for small dogs.
Period.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay. Period.
How small?
I did not know
Small
that.
Okay.
That's pretty
You
dope.
a big dog, okay?
I know.
Anyways, and she my woman crush. So
He talking about the little dog that he made a Facebook page for.
Tater tot.
I don't know anything
nuggets,
about
something like
Nuggets.
I don't know
Tater
nothing
tot.
about that
Oh
thing.
my God.
Want me to show you?
No.
Here we go with these. Pull it up.
Y'all keep on talking.
Ooh,
I'll
here
pull
we
it
go.
up.
He's like, I got a pie chart for that.
Because now I'm curious. Like, you have a small dog?
No, he's not. She's not small. She's medium.
Is she transgender? Because you said she, then you said he. What is she or he identify?
Here we
as?
go.
They.
Here we go.
They, them.
You gonna stop?
Do you not know?
You gonna stop? What are you talking about?
Does your dog know that he, she, or they, them is a black dog? That's what we need to know.
No, she is a she.
Does she know she a black
This is
dog?
your black dog.
I don't know what that actually means. So what is it?
That means
That
like
means-
we're not
yeah.
jumping on the kitchen table.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You see, I look
Okay.
Like what are you
That
talking
means,
about?
like,
We don't share
we're
ice
not-
cream cones.
No,
Thank you.
no, okay.
Okay.
I mean,
We're
speak
not-
like no.
you're
You're not kissing me in my
No.
mouth.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. You're
no.
not going to lick me when I get out the bathtub. No. None of that.
No, she don't do all that. She don't-
Okay.
yeah.
You're not going to have
The
a
fact that
sweatshirt that
he
looks like
needed
a sweater.
explanation is a little alarming.
It's a little like, I don't know.
That's
They
their
might
type.
blur the lines a little bit.
She's a light skin though.
That's their
That's
type.
why today my boss came.
Here you go with this
Ew.
light skin shit.
She had
Not a
Excuse me.
dog.
Excuse me.
Fur all over her.
It's all about
Exhibit.
it's about tater tot.
Oh, there's
Exhibit tater
Brutisha.
tot. Tater tot Miles.
Yes.
Tater tot Miles.
Oh,
She's so
Hi,
cute.
Tater
so
Tot.
She's
cute.
adorable. Though.
She is.
How old is
She's
she?
so pretty.
She's 4.
She bite too.
yeah.
No, she's a rescue.
She still
She
bite. Do
needs
she
some
got
more
teeth?
friends though.
Do she have teeth?
This is her with the Christmas picture. She wouldn't look at the camera. She was being an ass.
Oh.
Oh, sounds like you.
Yep.
Tommy, I'm on your team.
Thank you.
I just don't understand why people always say that they dog don't bite, but if your dog got teeth, they bite. Because I got teeth. Exactly.
And we know you bite.
She's never bit anybody aggressively. She just really
With a
playful.
nice little nipple.
No, it's just-
Nobody aggressively.
I mean it's just like when you be play fighting, you accidentally scratch or punch somebody. You know, you just be playing
I
so
don't
much.
play fight.
Yeah, I don't like that shit. That turned into
Okay, you're
something.
getting off tater tot right now. We're just going to talk about, the guest, Wrain. Thank you for coming, Wrain. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. T.
I'm going to take control of this show since it's losing its control. The host.
Oh man.
Where one of these buttons at?
The fuck.
Stop being weird, nigga.
Oh, this is going on. Okay.
Oh. Go on, please.
Finish him.
She crazy.
So how was your weekend? Let's start with our guest. How was your weekend, Ryan?
Why I just gotta be her weekend?
Well, I mean,
How you
today's
just
only
been?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just how you been?
Okay, I like that.
Oh, and you started with me. Okay, how have I been? I've been super overwhelmed. Work has been overwhelming AF. So much so it has forced me to really question, what am I doing?
In a good or a bad way?
Let me be more specific. What am I doing here? So like in my current position, and so it's been jolting, and I think it's been overwhelming, but a necessary jolt. I've been popping my shit. So you get to that place where you are just so unapologetic, like you like, I don't care if I get fired or not. It is what it is. So
That's me after the first week.
I'm in that.
I was like, yeah, I just transferred and I'm already there after 90 days. Like, well,
I'm in
whatever
that
happens,
space where if you ask me my opinion, you're getting
unfiltered
it's not the
truth.
per my last email.
Right,
it was
it
like,
is.
well, I just said. so
I just told you.
yeah, I'm in
feel
that
you.
space. So yeah, this week, the weeks have been super overwhelming, and it just bleeds into the weekend. So my weekends have been kind of trying to reset, but of course,
You only get 48 hours.
you only get 48 hours, and Sunday you're just thinking about Monday.
Right, that's true.
So that's
I don't
where I'm
think about
at.
Monday till Monday. I wake up like shit.
I do.
It's
I'm thinking
Monday.
about Monday on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't.
What is
I gotta
tomorrow
I gotta
be?
go to work tomorrow. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I like going to work. That's probably weird, even though they be on my nerves sometimes. But I don't know. I actually like going to work. It's
That's
Like,
like
I don't
I
know.
love that for
Weird.
you. Like,
yeah. I don't get that. Like when I had my previous position on Mondays, I'd be like, oh, because I know I had nothing to do. I had no work to do here. It's busy. It's constant all day, so my days go
oh, okay.
super fast.
Yeah.
So
Busy is good. Like you said, it keeps you occupied for the day.
yeah. So
What about you, Denise?
For the last probably few weeks, month, I've just been in a space of doing what needs to be done, kind of on autopilot. I just realized that like within the last 48 to 72 hours that I've just kind of been on autopilot probably for the last month. And not really realizing it until, again, just recently. So now I'm just trying to
It was seeing my
Reset.
face, wasn't it?
I'm just trying to reset and come out of that autopilot, reset, and get back on track doing other things other than what needs to be done. What needs to be done is always going to be there. Bills, work, whatever, everything is always going to be there. So now I just need to get into a space of doing what I want to do.
Yep. I'm glad you had that realization. Because we knew.
Because I've been
sure knew. But I'm glad you got there. So
yeah. Lately I've been busy, but a good busy. And I've been enjoying the healing work. Like I've been in a space where I'll be like, okay, this is finna piss me off, or this is going to overwhelm me. But then I get in those spaces and I'll be like, oh, look at you. You didn't heal from that. Like that hasn't triggered yourself. Right. That's been good. So I've been taking all of my small wins and putting them together. Like, bitch, you did that.
Because you did.
So it's been good.
I think that's good, especially because right now we are doing our 30 days of self-care and self-love.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really important. I this morning was crying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just realized
I had
picture of me. That's why I was crying. So
y'all Tommy, what you put them up to?
What'd you say?
No, but I think I had the realization of because the last 2 weeks I've been working really hard. Like I told you, I started meditation, which I had never done before in my life. So I started doing that. And I could just tell I have become a lot more calmer and just a lot more just ease. You know what I mean? It hasn't been so rough. Mm-hmm. And then this morning, I don't even know what I was doing, but then I realized you have spent a full 2 weeks every day doing something for yourself. I ain't never done that in my life. You know what I mean? So this morning I was super emotional about it. You really are loving on yourself and you really are doing the work as hard as it is.
The intentionality.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So
that's dope. I like that for you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you inviting us on your journey, even though I was like, bitch, why you ain't tell us?
That the first time.
Yeah.
And that's why I told you the second time.
I appreciate it.
To make sure that you do it too.
Oh, I was about to say, what? We can, I guess the next time we can invite.
Who, me?
Poor Tommy. He gonna need to because you'll be tearing his poor little Steve to the floor.
He was in the messages like, I can't wait to get on her nerves. And y'all just be on his team.
I ain't got on your nerves yet.
Oh,
really?
It was a yes for
me.
You
been warned. Wait, what we got over here?
She said, wait, which one of these?
Damn, that's my warning.
No, that was you to her.
You shot me.
Oh, okay.
She handed.
I gave you the
gun. I'm anti-gun.
I'm not. I just bought me a 380 last week.
Period. Okay.
No, for real.
Not anti.
Okay.
I mean, I just don't have one. I don't care.
Yeah. But do you know how to shoot one?
Never shot one in my life.
So we can't go on a date because you can't protect me.
I'm gonna protect you.
But what?
These are all the protections. You win some.
Craig.
You win. You live to fight another day.
Not in 2023. You not.
I guess we're not safe.
Yeah.
I
felt like I had to with the type of work I do.
It's definitely historical. My family. It's a family situation. It's just too many. Too many shootings in my family.
Yeah,
that's
too much death.
I mean, I don't want to, or nor do I want to even learn how to shoot. And everybody in my family got a gun. Like they'd be like, "Hey man, you ain't seen?" And I'd be like,
I get it. I didn't want to. It's a huge responsibility. It really is. But in my type of work,
you have to.
I don't have no choice because I'm in and out of buildings, in and out of people's apartments. They be talking crazy. They be threatening me, and
I mean, I keep that thing on me.
Do I want to?
But that's it.
But do I want to? No, it's not something I ever want to do. But if I have to, I have to.
You know that it's an option if it resorts to that.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about it. Yeah. I thought about it even in the sense what she said as far as where you know, because everybody else got one and I'm walking around without one. Like,
just get you some blood store. That's what I got, and I feel like that's gonna keep me. Because whether I have a gun or not, if I trust God with the details, He's gonna either protect me or it's within his will. So whether I have it or not, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had to pull a gun out, shit done got way too far. Like,
I mean, I'm cold with the one, the invisible one. When I be rapping in the car and stuff.
When you be rapping it, when you have your car concert.
the John Morant.
Hey, for real.
It's a lot to it.
Yes. But yeah, you was in the military, so
Yes.
it's a lot.
So I've shot everything that you can think of. But owning a firearm, which I do, it was a lot to purchase, to carry, and it's still a lot now because it's such a responsibility that and when you carry responsibly, if I'm pulling this out, I'm shooting and I'm shooting to kill. I'm not shooting you in your leg.
Right.
So
Hey, Ship.
Crystal, hey. So it's a huge responsibility and even to program your mind to adjust to like not having it to now carrying it, the weight. Does it have a safety? Do it not have a safety?
Yep.
What is your holster like? Are you right hand? Are you left hand? So all of those things. And then the permit, when the permit became, the conceal and carry. So you have the right to bear arms, but then, it's a whole nother set of paperwork if you want to conceal your firearm. And
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. And then similar line of work where you're going in and out, you are working with the public. And so you want to carry, but then you are working with a company that says you cannot carry.
Right.
Right.
You're supposed to de-escalate. And if you sense danger.
Okay, I'm going to de-escalate this cat in your
Right. If you sense danger, you should leave immediately. You should tag team a visit if you feel unsafe. And it's like, what? At the end of the day, my role, my job is to go home.
Yeah.
And so by any means necessary, I have to make it home. And this policy, if harm is standing right here, this policy is not protecting me. So
Right.
Listen, and that's rolling right on into the topic because knowing that your job is to go home is self-care because I'm putting me first.
Absolutely.
Right.
100%.
What? Who gonna eat them chicken nuggets, bro? If I don't go home,
Son?
no, he ain't gonna eat no chicken nuggets. Son wants steak.
You right.
That's a big boy. So yeah, and son is he's the protector. As much as I don't want him to be, he is the protector. There's no when I'm with son, that's daddy's son because he gonna protect me in any means necessary, even if he needs to be like, let me make a phone call. But until then, he got me, which is scary because he is still my baby. Right. But at the same time, it's like I do have to see him as the young man that he is, but I also understand that the world is going to see him as a man,
a black man,
and that is scary. And I've had to take a step back and do the self-care for that. Like, I can't shield him from the world and I can't shield the world from him. But at the same time, I just have to make sure that my mind is ready for whatever we walk into. Raising a young black man. Get y'all daughters off my son.
I think the Kyle Rittenhour thing has changed my perspective. That stuff that happened when that changed my perspective. I gotta get armed. I gotta be ready. Like they just coming up on people and just shooting.
Right.
So that definitely changed my perspective. I'm still a little leery of it, but I'm scared of me being scared to have one. So I'm not.
And that's just PTSD.
Don't rush it. Because it's definitely a shift. And it's a responsibility that honestly you probably don't even want. But greater than that is the responsibility to protect yourself. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Can we shout out to Ship because she is gang
She in the comments going crazy.
Yes,
she is calling the people into the room.
Do
We
say
appreciate her.
to the front of the congregation.
I need y'all to come here, please.
You like it.
Please, love it.
Definitely.
So Ray,
shout out.
can I ask you? So being in the military, once you got out of the military, obviously you said you shot everything that there was to be shot while you were in the military. But after, becoming a civilian, returning to civilian life, did you automatically go and purchase a firearm right away? Or how was that process for you?
No. So actually, I detached from the military completely. I was in the military for 8 years during war. So I joined right after 9/11. And it took me about maybe 5 to 7 years after really to do anything that was even remotely familiar to being in the military. So I stopped working out. I didn't want to see a range or a firearm. You wouldn't even catch me wearing anything fatigue, any of that. So I think my experience in the military, it's a whole nother podcast, but definitely lacked self-care, but it was full of so much sexism and racism, where racism was at the forefront. That celebrating Veterans Day or just even Armed Forces Day or any of that was just really difficult, because I was like, this is a organization built on white supremacy that really don't give a fuck about me.
Seriously.
So
I got a side note. Side note. I'm gonna connect you with a young lady in the Navy, a Black woman. She just came out of the Navy. She's been out a year. Same thing that you saying, and they do a podcast about this. So I'll make sure I connect y'all.
Oh, for sure.
What's the mental state like being in the military versus being out?
It was more challenging for me. I was all civilian even when I was in.
Okay.
So, basic training was like, get down, private. You think you on the street, got your hand on your hip. And because I was in formation, like,
period.
So it was more of an adjustment to get in soldier mode versus being a civilian. And so once the contract was a wrap, that part was easy for me.
You said, all right.
But
a lot of people say that, even just being a part of the war, being a part of that type of environment, the mental and the PTSD after that is a lot. Was it like that for you?
It wasn't like that for me because I wasn't deployed.
Okay.
So I can't even imagine what that's like for soldiers that have been deployed. I will say that my experience, because it was different. So I first joined, like I said, I joined during war, and I started here in Milwaukee. Racist. I was literally the only Black person. And then I transferred to a unit in New Orleans where everybody was Black. And but at the time, right after 9/11, if a unit was mobilized, then that unit, they would do their time, and then they would come back, and they had non-mobilization status for, I think, 3 or 4 years. 4 years. And so that was great. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna move down here, and I can finish school and not have to worry about deployment, which that's what I did. And then after that, I moved to California. So I found a unit in California, and I called back to my unit in New Orleans, and unbeknownst to me, they had gotten deployed.
Oh, wow.
And my unit in California was very small. When I first started, it was probably 30 of us. And then by the time I finished out my contract, which was, I think I was there for maybe like 3 years, the unit had grown to 300.
Oh,
wow.
And so
that grew rapidly.
It grew rapidly. And I didn't know at the time why it was growing so rapidly, but they were getting ready to deploy.
Oh.
And so, and then I was like, yeah, I'm done. So
that's right.
In the meantime, though, I volunteered to go. I had a friend group, and we were from all over, and we had met somewhere, Fort Hood or wherever, and we had this pack. And so we all wanted to go to Kuwait together. And they ended up getting deployed to Kuwait. And my unit commander said, no, And so it was just like that wasn't a part of my journey. That wasn't a part of my story. So I did think about kind of, well, why not? Why wasn't a part of my story? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that took some getting used to. Like, what all the shoulda, woulda, coulda, what would have happened, and
right.
you know, so
especially because you had that friend group who you know you wanted
Right.
to stick close to and
Do
say y'all
you
was all gonna go
still
together.
talk to them?
no,
Okay.
no. I rarely talk to anybody that I was in the military with. That's unfortunate, but
I was gonna ask you, was it deliberate? But
it was not deliberate. It was only a handful of us. Now, granted, some folks I have had to block because I didn't like you then, and I don't like you now.
Right.
And that's on period.
I think I like that in your story you kept who you were real, because I know people who they get into the military and they just full on into you still kept who you were,
your individuality,
despite being in the military and them forcing that, you know, you got to be this way, everybody got to be uniform, everybody has to be this way. So I like that you stayed yourself, true to yourself.
Because again, to me, and I appreciate that, thank you, is so a lot of it, I'm gonna keep it all the way 100.
Please
a lot
do.
of being in the military is performative as fuck.
I believe that.
And I found myself initially being performative.
Falling in line.
I'm standing in line. This is when I used to eat McDonald's. I'm standing in line. No shade to people that still eat McDonald's. So
all the shade. Ew.
I'm standing in line and I'm like just straight, and you know, hat off. I still it's kind of, well, I like hats now, but then I was very like, things had to be this way. My first semester in college was terrible. I'm like, it's 2,100 hours, lights out. So they were. I'm calling campus security. I'm doing the hallway sweep. I'm doing everything like boys out. So they were calling me the crazy military girl for a whole semester.
I can see that.
And
it's lights out. Damn. Maybe I wanted to stay up a little bit longer.
Sir, yes, sir.
I was very, very much that way. I also realized that wasn't gonna work. Like, I had no friends or anything. Like, they were calling me the crazy military girl. And
as they should.
Rightfully so. Like, when I look back, I'm like, girl, you was really doing
it. Right, like, it was a bit much.
You was dropping the dime on them. And they were just being 18, 19.
Right.
And so then I'm like, I'm not doing that. It feels so unnatural.
Right.
Even honestly, saying the Pledge of Allegiance always felt unnatural. And then the more and the longer I was in the military, and like I said, it's so much racism and sexism. The second time I was called a nigger was in the military. And so the girl who bunked was next to mine, who also, ironically, was from Wisconsin.
Oh.
And here I am thinking we were going to be best of buds, and you're from where I'm from, and here we are at Fort
She
Jackson.
was from the Upper East Side.
Right. And so I was like, this, y'all really don't give a fuck about me, and so therefore I have to. I'm here for the benefits. Like, I'm here so I don't get fired.
Basically.
So you're gonna get all of who I am.
I like that. Interesting. So post military, what does self-care look like for Wrain?
Post military, self-care really varies. I have something I wrote down. One of the things that I do is flex my rod, just be flexible, because what I need today, I might not need tomorrow, and vice versa. So I really enjoy my couch. I really enjoy laughter. And today's
healing.
Laughter is so healing. Music is healing.
Yes.
And so music, laughter,
Car concerts.
dance,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Come on.
And if we not tag teaming this car concert,
Man,
you
listen.
can get out.
If we not finna
Ooh,
discuss,
that's
okay,
good.
so
You got the first verse and I got the
no,
second.
no.
I
The
like
boy
that.
is mine. Who are you, Brandy or Monica?
Right.
Because
Yes.
if you don't speak up quickly, I'm going to be both.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Brittany or Monica? Yes.
I like that. That made me think about. I started doing shadow work.
Mhm.
And talking to your inner child, and I think that we do forget that, and that's kind of that, having fun, going back to just being free and open. I think that that's part of the self-care and just getting back to who we are.
Absolutely. I was talking to my mom about. We were talking about something. Oh, my mom gets so pissed if you do not leave a voicemail, and so I was
I wouldn't leave one on purpose.
How you can become so stagnant in those practices, and just the inability to be flexible. And so a part of I just lost my train of thought, but it was something you said that I was gonna connect that. But anyway,
It'll come back.
It'll come back. But that inner child is so important, and understanding and valuing the freedom that inner child once had. Like, it's so often we get up and the body is it does what it wants to do.
And does.
And so when the knees are cracking and the back is aching and all of that is signs of aging. And so the visibility of aging is right at the forefront. And so that inner child gets smaller and smaller, more quiet within. And so how do we give space for this inner child to shine? And adult coloring. So that's something that I enjoy doing.
Skating.
Oh, thank you.
Skating.
Because if my knees breaking,
Lord,
one
I
more of
can't
my
skate
crayons.
nothing.
Well, you spoke to inner child. For me, that brings back memories of my teenage years, lock-ins every weekend with my cousins and my friends, and going to the skating rink at 6:00, and then waiting for a ride at 9:00, being out there with my friends afterwards. We still hype from skating, all the music, and just so that brings back, like you said, my inner child. So even though I haven't gone in probably a little while, but I do still have my skates and I do still skate.
Absolutely. I do want to say that a lot of times we talk about our inner child because childhood in general is supposed to be this like really joyful experience, but for some it's not.
Right.
So for people that are listening and they're like, shit, I don't want to go back to my inner child. I encourage them to either tap into the childhood that they wish they had, or how they perceive childhood, like an air quote normal childhood to be, and or create that now.
Yes.
So or go back to when things were happy. So it may not have been childhood, and it may have been teenage years or early 20 years, because people was, we
was very childish. I'm still childish.
So for some people, it was the 20s was thriving for them. But whatever that time period is that you either had or that you desire to have, I encourage you to explore that.
I'm definitely one of those people who I used to be like, oh, my childhood was this and it was so great, until I started my healing journey. And I was like, shit, it was dark. And it was just my body, blocking that, that dark spot out. But just being able to do the healing work and then go back and be like, it was just this piece, and it was very liberating for me to actually go in, and it's still taking some time to go in and like take it out piece by piece, but do it, because even just that small part, it is such a big part of who I am now, and I didn't know it. Like certain conversations, I'll be like, that's great for y'all, because I'm still dealing with it, because it's like it wasn't horrible, but it is so much a part of who I am, because like I ain't doing that, but I go back and I be like, but why am I not doing it? So
that's funny you brought that up. Last night when I was I was praying before I went to bed, that as I'm starting to do this shadow work, and it has different prompts or whatever, like my prayer was that as I'm doing this, like I want to see the truth. Like, I don't want to see like what I thought it was or make up something. You know how you see people like where they start having these thoughts, or people are putting thoughts into them that didn't really happen. Like, I want to know, like, what was the real truth? Like, not nothing made up, not nothing I made up in my mind, not nothing that somebody put in my head, but the real truth of why I'm where I am now, and why is it that I have to go back and do this. Like, I want to, I'm like, I want all of that revealed to me. So
pray to be prepared for whatever.
Absolutely. I definitely did. I asked for all of that and the endurance, because I'm tired. There's a reason why I'll start stuff and not finish. And I gotta figure this out. I gotta get to the root of why am I not finishing stuff.
Right.
I know part of it is because I never felt good enough. We talked about this, like, with my parents. I was trying to be perfect for them. So I never felt good enough. So I'm just like, so it's almost like self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, I ain't gonna get it done. They don't think I'm gonna get it done. So whatever. You know what I mean? Type of thing. So
I'm not good enough anyway. So
what difference would it make?
Right. I don't give a damn.
So yeah.
I don't think I cared enough.
So how do you track that? So how do you track, okay, I started this, whatever it is. I started cleaning out my closet, and then I just said, fuck it. I started this business, and then I said, fuck it. Like, how are you tracking to uncover, you said that you want to get to, you start these things that then you never stop. And so I guess what I'm wondering is if you have a tracking system, and if so, are you recognizing patterns?
I don't have a tracking system. I think, I'm more like my tracking system is internal. You know what I mean? Where I remember, dang, I started this, I didn't do this. I started this, I didn't do this. Like, when I'm starting something new, I'm like, are you gonna finish it? Because you didn't finish this. You didn't finish this. You get what I'm saying? So like, that's kind of like what my internal tracker is. But what I am doing now is I am journaling.
Okay.
So I am writing. I got it over here. It's in my purse. So I am writing as I face these things, and as they come to me. I'm like, oh, let me stop. Let me go write this down. So I'm literally carrying it around so that I can.
That's great.
Right. I'm saying they make small goals, because I would do that too. Well, not necessarily like start something and like not finish, but I would get so close and I would get scared of the end result, because I was putting myself out there. So I started doing like weekly goals, daily goals. Yeah, for sure. So the smaller ones will make it be like
small win. Like you said earlier, you was
I'm done already.
Small win.
Instead of doing like, okay, I got to get this whole project done, breaking it down makes it a lot easier.
And that's probably why this morning I was saying I was emotional. I remember what set it off. I was actually cooking me something for lunch. And so
in the morning? Oh, you lit.
I'm up. I'll be up. I don't have to be work till 9:00. So I'm up. But what I was cooking myself was everything I had was completely healthy, because I'm struggling with some stomach issues, and we were trying to figure out what's wrong with my stomach. And so I have to like leave breads, meat, all of that alone, because it just makes me sick. So this morning I got up and I was cooking me.
So good.
I know. So I was cooking my meal, and I was just like super excited, because I probably would. I'm going to stop over here and grab me something. You know what I mean? And I was like, I really am working on this, like for real, with my eating, making sure I'm eating the right things and putting what in my body, what I should be putting in, not, all that other stuff. Because everything I had was, it was a vegetarian dish that before I'd be like, I love vegetables anyway, but I was like, I'm not going to just only eat vegetables, but now it's no big deal. So I was just kind of excited about that this morning. That
it was a win.
It was a win.
That was your daily win.
That was my win, and that was something that I was doing for me.
Right.
I wasn't cooking for somebody else, like my family or my husband or whatever. I was cooking for me, for my health and for my well-being. So
you started something and you're seeing it through.
Right. Yep.
That's dope. I like that for you.
And the fact that I've been doing meditation for 2 weeks straight, because I've been quit that.
Child.
I'm just being so honest.
Why is self-care hard? Like, why is it so hard for us to love on us and take, well, not even just say love on us, because we do that naturally, but why is it so hard for us to take care of us when we're so willing to take care of
I
other
feel like
people?
it's something that comes from our parents. They tell us you don't be self-centered. Not understanding them is two different things.
Right.
Absolutely.
Those are two totally
Self-love
different
and
things.
self-centered is so
Two
far
totally
on
different
opposite ends of the spectrum.
things.
Yeah, because I can for sure, it's like taking your own advice. I can tell you all day, don't do X, Y, and Z. You know, if you do X, Y, and Z, then that's gonna happen. You know, it's a domino effect, blah, blah, blah. Yet I could be going through the same exact thing and not take my own advice. But I just told her, don't, because, and now here I am doing, and then.
Yeah.
Right. I think adulting in a lot of ways is being on autopilot. So self-care is such an intentional practice that when it comes to intentionality,
It gets lost.
It definitely gets lost. And so we do the basics, you know, we get up, we shower, make the bed, maybe. And then you just go right into mode, which is usually sleep, work, eat, repeat. And so those moments in which we have to be intentional usually aren't reserved for us. They're reserved for everything and everybody else. And so I think that's why self-care is so hard. It's like it's a real intentional behavior to promote overall wellness, and we don't look at it as that.
Right. I've been on the self-care journey for so long that it's routine for me now.
So you might gotta shake it up.
Though.
And I have. So at first it was like what I thought was self-care. Well, and maybe it was to me in that space, in that time of my life. It was more so, I gotta get my nails and I gotta go do this. It was like to me now that's just, it ain't necessary. But now I'm in a space where I need to make sure I'm going to see my therapist. I need to make sure I'm taking the time to just sit. I texted y'all the other day, like, I'm having a hard time just taking the day and just relaxing. Yes, there's a pile of clothes that needs to be folded, but
so
it's
what?
okay.
Where they going?
Right.
They
So
go. They
I've
going to
been-
there.
Everything is always going to be there. Sleep, whatever, like the clothes are always going to be, the bills are always going
they
to be
still
there.
right there.
Work is always going to be there. Like it's always going to be there. We have to, like you said, just be intentional about sitting.
Even
just being.
with my son, the other day he asked me, "Ma, you still taking me here, right?" Well, what time? Because I have an appointment with my therapist. Well, I don't got to be there until this time, but I don't want to be the first one there. Well, you will be. Because if you want me to take you,
Right.
I have to have this session, because if I don't fill up, I might lose my mind and not come back and get you. So I make sure that I put on my calendar, wait, I ain't had a session in 2 weeks. That has to happen. I make sure my Sundays are reset days. Like I have to have those things. Even if it's just going upstairs and being like, I'm gonna turn off all these lights so no one can even think that I'm available. Turning my phone off. Like I make it very intentional for myself to love on me, because at a point I didn't love myself and I didn't feel like I was receiving love from anybody else. So I would get mad at my son for just being a kid. If I'm like, oh, I love you and I want to hug it. As a teenager, he's like, move, I don't want to hug my mama right now. But for me, it was just like I felt unworthy of his love, his attention. So it was like, I'm controlling this. I have to love me. So I made it very intentional to, okay, you don't want my hug? I'm going to do it for me. Or, you know what I'm saying? Just making sure I had that time for myself.
How can we love someone else if we can't love ourselves?
And that happened too. Where I was like, you know what? Come get him. He don't love me. He don't need to be around me. And it was like, it's not necessarily his fault. He's a teenager. He's going through his own things.
Yeah, he half man, half child.
I have to love me. I can't expect for him to feel me when he doesn't even know how to navigate through his own life. So.
I think I'm just now learning how to rest, because y'all know I run the street. I be everywhere doing everything. But me and my sister had a conversation, and we together discovered where it came from. It came from our mom. You know, every Saturday morning, it was we gonna get up, we gonna
The
clean
crack of
up,
dawn.
then we gonna go here, and then we gonna go here, and then we gonna do this, and then on Sunday you got to get your clothes ready. She make us get our clothes ready for the entire week. I'm talking about to the panties.
Cause I be like,
panties,
I
socks.
gotta run errands. What errands you got?
Right.
What errands do you?
No,
Girl, you ain't got no
you gotta run
errands.
the street. That's it. So she made us feel like if we're not doing anything, then we're lazy. And I never wanted to be called lazy. Like if she would tell me I was lazy, that would hurt my feelings. I would be so mad. Like she called me lazy. They might as well call me a bitch. You know what I mean? I don't know why that would hurt me so much. And so I
Maybe
think
it wasn't
that was
the
part
lazy
of,
word. Maybe it was who it was coming from.
Right. And
Yeah.
the meaning behind it coming from her.
It could be both, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why I found myself always just doing something, busy, because if I'm not doing anything, you know, or if I'm deciding I'm gonna lay down, now I feel guilty. Now I feel bad. Now I got to get up and go find something to do because if my mama gonna tell me I'm lazy because I'm laying down.
Speaking to that lazy word, shout out to Wrain Truth, who initially posted this, and then Britt Nicole reposted it. You're not lazy. Your body may be emotionally burnt out from pouring into people who don't pour into you, being the go-to person for emotional support, trying to keep the peace by silencing yourself, maintaining one-sided relationships and or friendships, trying to save people from themselves, and giving people endless chances at your expense.
I know about every last one of them.
I think we all can relate to at
Facts.
least one or two on this list.
I'm the whole list.
So you're not lazy. You're burnt out. Like you're tired.
No, I'm sick of y'all motherfuckers.
That's who.
what
Look,
I am.
that's who.
And fuck you. I'm not doing it no more. Like that's where I'm at in my life. I'll be like, nope. My son come out, be like, nope. My daughter, nope.
And so speaking of running the streets, like y'all know, I'm just like you, always doing something, always going somewhere.
But what
I
we
be
really
outside.
Stay outside.
I be
like, Denise, I'm
outside.
taking my
What we
own
really
car because I
running
gotta go
from?
home.
That's where you really we gotta get to what we
Right.
really running from.
I
We running
had
from
gotten
ourselves.
home and was called. I was intentionally staying out. Well, kind of intentionally staying out, waiting for this phone call. And finally, I decided, okay, well, I'm just going home. Soon as I got home, I got said phone call to come outside. I said, I'm at home already. I'm not coming
You
out.
can
So that
find me
was-
on the couch.
That was really self-care for me because
In my bonnet with
I'm
my wig
used
next to
to just always being outside. Oh, the streets is calling. Like,
Seriously.
so I'm
Block 'em.
going outside.
right.
So that was
Yeah.
self-care for me, just being like, no, I'm actually
I
at
need to go
home.
rest.
I'm not coming back out. I'm at home.
And not only that, but like, you're not about to dictate my time like that,
Right.
said person on the phone, you know, like, because that's another thing. People think that they can dictate your time and pull you in these different directions. And so the self-care was like, no, I'm taking back, I'm reclaiming my time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like-
yes.
Definitely did that.
Can I
Yes.
ask the therapist a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
So getting back to the term lazy, another term that is commonly used that kind of trigger me as far as the word selfish, and someone calling you selfish, and it just like burned me up inside. Like I'm not selfish, but some people, when it comes to divorce, are called selfish. And at the time, I was talking to a therapist, and they gave me kind of like permission to be selfish to a certain extent, and it made it feel better. But after the fact, I still feel like, was that that was a selfish move, because I was not. We weren't happy. We were not happy, and the reason why we were together was to keep the kids and family together. And the last conversation I remember having was, when they turn 18 and they're gone, then what? We're gonna be looking at each other. Then we going to divorce? I mean, we might as well stay together then. But then that whole might as well, all that stuff was like this. That's a selfish thought. Just think that they need you, because they don't.
Right.
They don't need you anymore. And I was wondering if that's something that you attest to, like something that the whole selfish, it's okay to be selfish kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think that, we say we stand with each other. Go ahead. I'm
Pause
sorry.
that. Absolutely, because unhappiness will show up down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to add that little part to it, because you could have
did another 6 months, hypothetically,
Mhm.
you know, and then what, like you said. So,
Mhm.
so unhappiness definitely has a way of showing up. And the bigger, the bigger kind of caveat to all of that is like your not being selfish bleeds into so many other and impacts so
being
many other
mean, because
lives.
that's a me thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get to being mean, like for real.
Yeah, it's like it becomes resentment.
Mhm.
Like I'm here because I'm being selfless for you because this is what you want, but I'm not happy.
And now the children feel that, the
Yeah.
dog feel that,
Yeah.
work feels that, other family members feel that.
The flip
So,
side to that, because I've been called selfish too, I had to take it, instead of being called selfish, I'm self-full. And that's the self-care in it, because it's like, no, I'm protecting me.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, I'm protecting you as well and whoever else is around, because if I don't take this time for me to be quote unquote selfish, it's gonna hurt.
Right.
All of us. Like,
Right.
I'm
my energy.
listen, I'm a Libra, so I'm gonna hold it in until I literally explode, and then afterwards, I'm sitting back like, ooh, I feel better, but damn, look at the damage, you know. So flip it, instead of being selfish, be self-full, and sometimes you gotta explain that to people, and even if you don't, or you explain it to them and they don't understand it, still be like, listen, I have to take this for me, because if I don't take this time, because think about it as a job, right? They taking off for their kids. Take off for yours. And if you die tomorrow, your position is
posted within an hour.
And,
So be self-full. Don't be selfish.
I think that we'll stay in a relationship, say it's for the kids, but I think we're looking at it wrong. We're staying in a bad situation or a bad relationship is teaching them to stay in a bad situation or a bad relationship. So we just kind of messed them up a little bit. You know, we're teaching them not to take care of self and to take care of others before them. So we're taking that away from them. So, you know, like, and I was married and I finally had to say, you know what, fuck this nigga, I'm out of here, because what is it doing to my children? Are seeing me depressed.
Right.
They're seeing me abused, and I'm staying in this. What am I teaching my daughter? I'm teaching my daughter
mental health is okay
in an abusive relationship. I'm teaching my son to be an abuser. Like, I gotta get out of this shit, because
this is how women
I'm about
respond.
to wreck them. I got issues. Now I'm about to make them have issues. I got to get the fuck out of here. And that's what.
And your children, you know, in outside of the context of relationships, should we say like, I only want the best for my children, right? Like that's what people say. Right? I only want the best for my kids, whatever. And then, but don't think about you not being your best.
Correct.
So if you only want the best, you have to
be your best.
You have to be your best. Show them what the best me looks like.
Right.
And that sometimes mean you got to go your separate ways with your partner.
Yep.
Sometimes that means taking a step back from parenting. I'm learning that.
And I think it's letting them see you be vulnerable, letting them see you be broken sometimes, because then they see you when you overcome too. They see like, okay, this happened, but look where she at now. I can do it too.
Absolutely.
You know, type of thing.
And we got to get out of the space of, and I'm talking to myself, that, oh, my baby daddy ain't no good, but that's who God chose for your child to have in their life. So even though I think he's not the dad that my son needs, he's absolutely the dad that my son needs, because that's who he goes to and he talks to more than he will talk to me, because I'm overprotective. But that's the father that he needs in his teenage years versus me. I'm still being like, that's my baby. You know, so we have to understand that giving them the best, meaning sometimes to just take a step back.
For sure.
That's hard.
It is.
I'll be like, hard. You okay, son? He'd be like, bro, you just called me. You literally just dropped me off. Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's important that, you know, as part of self-care, it is, you know, taking care of your mental health as well. Like, that's so important.
Absolutely. And being unapologetic about the journey, because sometimes that guilt creeps in where you like, you know, I want to go on a girls trip, but I have work, or I have this obligation, or who gonna take care of the dog. You know, you feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
But let the journey be and be unapologetic about it. And so going back to that word lazy, it might look like a self-care. It might look like Netflix and chill.
Right.
And you don't get shit done that day. And that's okay.
That's okay, because I done did 252 things already that week.
So even thinking about like the journey, whether it's self-care, mental health, therapy, healing, whatever the journey is, me and Aziza had a conversation the other day. And we talked about so much, and it was so healing for both of us. It was just like, woo, child, I came over here to check on you, but you know, I had a good, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And as we were sitting there, I don't remember exactly what I was saying to her. And I was like, sometimes in the journey, you like, dang, I'm back at this same spot, but I already overcome that. Okay, now I'm over here. Dang, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? You feel like, you know what I'm saying, all these different things. And as I was talking to her, she started doodling and she drew a spiral. And she said, in the spiral, it's like, okay, I start here and I go here and I'm doing good. But guess what? Now I start to touch that same trigger. Okay, now I'm over here and I'm doing good. Oh, I'm almost over there, but that trigger is not going to trigger anymore because now I've done even more work. So it was just like that journey is going to look different. It might look like a heartbeat for you. Yeah. It might look like a spiral for someone else, but it's going to be a continuous thing. It can be a roller coaster. For Tommy, it's a, you know, whatever.
Right. Healing is a journey. I think some people look at healing as like healed, period. And I look at it as healing, comma. Like it is ongoing. And and you might go, shit, a long time without something triggering you. But when it happens, here we are. Does that mean that I'm not healed? Absolutely not. Right. This is a bump in the road, and we're going to figure this shit out just like we figured the next shit out. And it might be another few years since you might say some shit, and now I'm back ready to pop off. But like Aziza said, shout out to Aziza.
Yes.
Like Aziza said.
Speaking of which, where is she today?
I know, I love her.
You know, all of these, the journey, you're picking up some things along the way.
Hey, Britt.
Hey, right.
Hey, Tamisha.
Hey, y'all. Hey, we appreciate y'all for joining.
Yeah, I often tell my friend who just is a dope person and is doing a lot, but I'm like, dude, you have all these tools in your toolbox. When he gets overwhelmed, he's like, I don't know what to do. Da, 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 da. You got these tools in your toolbox. Yesterday you might needed a hammer, and today you need a wrench, but they're there. And so go to that toolbox and should build you a house.
Listen, hello, and learn to be transparent. You cannot heal without being real. I had to be super transparent, and my first time telling my full story was on a podcast. And it was, even afterwards, I went back and I listened, and I was like, shit, you know, and it forced me to have it was like a domino effect after that, and it was just like, all right, I signed up for this shit. So
here we are.
It was like, you can't say you want to heal and then you just want to creep in the closet and take one skeleton out. Like, no, it's a Pandora's box at this point. And it's going, when I tell you the domino effect was crazy, and then it was like, fuck it, I gotta have this conversation with my mama. Like, she needs to know. And now it's a better space for me and her, as well as some of my siblings that do know or that's willing to admit what happened. But even still, when I go into those spaces, do I have anxiety? Yes. But do I know I can be in those spaces without spazzing? Yes. So it's like, bitch, win for me, period. But you know, sometimes I'm like you said, go into that toolbox. All right, just breathe. You good.
Right.
If this person is here, step over here. The event space is this big.
Right.
I shouldn't have to go home because someone else is there.
Right.
They entered the room, but I entered the room as well. I've entered the room as a newer version of me. So it makes it a whole lot better.
It's the mantra of you can't fully heal because you're acting like you're not hurt.
Oh, that shit hurts.
But with so often you're talking about transparency. So often we're not transparent. We're walking around like everything is good. I'm cool. It's the common ask, call and response. How are you? I'm good. leave it at that.
I told y'all, just start randomly saying that shit out loud, even to the church people. Hey, baby, how you doing? I'm having a fucking day. They ain't even heard. They ain't heard you, but you saying it to yourself. As much as you're saying it to other people, you're saying it to yourself.
Right.
I encourage everybody to have that positive self-talk. And people can say I'm crazy. Y'all done been to my house. I got mirrors everywhere, but I'm in that mirror all day. You got this. You the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've healed past yesterday. You're gonna keep moving. So even on my work desk, the amount of stuff, the sticky notes, it's there. I don't know what I was.
You got to do.
I think I was scrolling. I was supposed to be working. I was waiting on email, whatever. So I'm like scrolling, and something came across my Instagram timeline. I was just like, wait up. Literally pulled out a sticky note. We gonna shelf that because it was the word why. Somebody asked, if you could ask God anything, what would it be? And it was just like, I ain't asked him nothing. I used to ask the question why, but it was like, who hurt you? Who helped you? Who healed you? That's a different way to look at why. And I was like, what? Let me write that down, because I'm at a point where I already know who hurt me. I know who's helping me, and I know who is healing me. And that who can be whoever you know what I'm saying, pray to, whoever you, whatever to. It could also be, I'm healing me. My circle of women is healing me. Tommy, you know, whatever. Like, the who can be anybody, but it's just like having that reflection just with the selfful and the selfish. Like, you got to learn to flip it and use it for you, because if you don't do the self-care, your mental health is going to be
suffer. For real.
I'm glad you admitted that.
That's
because I remember in one of your stories.
and then we don't think about, we think about these big kind of broad topics like, oh, my mental health will suffer, which it will. But then also thinking about, or not thinking about, the physical health, the spiritual health, the emotional health. And then as a result of that, now we're getting into, because all of these things are hurt that are ruptured in a way, then maybe now my financial situation is poor. Maybe I'm about to lose my house. Maybe I'm homeless, substance use and abuse. So it's like, it's just a domino effect. And there's these like secondary things that take place when all of the things are just crumbling. So
like she was saying earlier, it's a domino effect.
Domino effect for sure. And people often try to compartmentalize mental health as if it's its own entity, and it's everything is interrelated
for sure.
And so you see all the time, you see guys in the gym mainly because they're the ones that's in the gym taking up space, and they sweating and they grunting and they just and that's all they're doing is pumping up with these free weights. And then at the same time, they're like, man, I'm hungry. I'm about to go to Popeyes. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. And they talking about how they talking to this person, talking to that person, and doing all of this kind of toxic, fucked up shit. And it's just like, so the only thing you're doing is pumping iron because everything else is kind of crumbling. And, or you see people kind of overworking in one area and not realizing how it's a domino effect.
It's the mind, the body, and the spirit.
Absolutely.
The Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost. If that's who you are.
Right.
What's that? Romans 8:28. All good things. Okay.
Come to those.
I know my scripture.
I'm glad that you brought up is self-care is also your financial, taking care of things financially. That's part of self-care.
Absolutely.
That really is.
And mental.
Because
you will go crazy. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Especially when you got other people depending on you. That amount of stress is
like when you were talking about, like, you know, maybe I want to take this girl trip. And you can't. Some of it may be financial. We have to be mindful of that. Like, I can't go on a girl trip because I just don't got it like that because I need to take care of these bills. I need to take care of blah, blah, blah. That's still taking care of self.
It is.
Absolutely.
You know, and being mindful of those type of things and not just saying, well, I'm going to go out and blow all this rent money.
Right.
No. You know, you have to, as part of self-care is truly taking care of yourself. And that
transparency.
Absolutely. Financial is
And we know
legitimate.
that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to the purpose.
Was that 8 and 28?
It's 8:28.
See,
Look
you
at
be
you.
reading.
Praise him.
Look at you.
I'm a heathen, but I know my scripture.
Most of them do.
Most heathens know all
You didn't know, may the Lord watch.
Just because I didn't recognize that acronym right away, don't come for me, okay?
Just saying. You grew up Pentecostal. That's abuse.
I have a basic question for all of y'all.
Hey,
And
Nia.
y'all-
Not a basic question.
It's a basic question because it goes all the way back to somebody mentioning a journal. I think it was you, Nicole.
She pulled out her journal.
Right. Someone gifted me a journal. I haven't written in it because I just haven't. And how do you write in a journal? Like, that's how basic it is. Like, what do you do? Just open up and say, all right, dear diary. I mean, what do you do?
No, just you go. You the expert.
It's probably different for all of us.
Yeah.
I'm the journal expert because if there's one thing, I love journals. That's why, you know how everybody kind of have their things that they they hoard.
Mhm.
I hoard
I do
journals.
too.
It's a good one too.
And so so it depends. You start wherever you desire. So I have a journal specifically for quotes. If I hear a dope, that's my quotes journal. I have a journal where it's more so like Dear Diary. So I have my like Dear Diary journal. I have a journal that is for financial goals. So everything finance related. If I'm calculating, oh shit, they done added this late fee. And, you know, anytime I have to do math, that's that journal. I have a journal for business goals. That's another journal. I have 5-year journal, 10-year journal, and then I kind of backtrack and, okay, what can I do to get to these goals? So I have a journal for everything. And then I have self-guided journals. So the self-guided journals are just that. They might have prompts to help you along the way, where they may ask, you know, today I felt blah, 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 and you fill in the gaps. So if you are just beginning to journal, I suggest even...
That's what I got.
You are self-guided.
Yeah, I didn't really even look at it.
Look at that. That's a great place
There you
to
go.
start.
I opened it up and I was like, oh, it's got questions.
Yeah, that's a great
start.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at you.
Take my question back then. I just need to
No,
open
not
them up.
necessarily.
No, I mean, because that was a
you
valid
know,
question.
Other people got questions. So I would say I'm not as deep into it as you, but I do have several different journals. And like I said, I do sticky notes a lot because it's like, and I had to realize that was a form of me journaling and doing my positive self-talk. But I have a prayer journal and I have like my blank pages one. And sometimes it's doodling. Sometimes it's going full force. Before I did my Dear Diary episode, I wrote it out because I was so anxious about it. I had to get it out.
Right.
And it was just like, I'm going to read it so I don't got to look up at people. I can just sit with my diary. But at the same time, it was more therapeutic for me to write it out versus for me to just say it. Because if I never got to that episode, I at least got it off of me.
Yeah.
So I do my prayer journal. I have my, what you call it, the guided journal. I have those, and then they all sitting next to me. I have my my positive self-talk one, which is I think from Fly Girl. What is Trina Nicole?
Fly Girl with Fibro.
So I got one of her. I got everybody journal.
Shout out to Trina Nicole.
I love journaling because I don't always feel comfortable talking to other people,
right?
But I feel the most comfortable talking to me.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah,
because you're in a space of talking to other people. There's room for you to be judged, but when you're talking to yourself, there is no room for you to be judged because I'm talking to my damn self. So
and I be in a space like I want to vent, but I don't necessarily need you to give me what you think, because I'm gonna stop talking to dude when I'm ready to stop talking to dude.
Yeah,
right.
But sometimes maybe not judge. Maybe judgment is the wrong word. But I've journaled and went back. Remember, I was talking about patterns earlier, and it may take years. So one thing I've journaled about over the years have been partners, and I've seen patterns in partners. Therefore, I also seen why it failed. But I'll be reading something, I'm like, girl, what? You let this person say what? You did what? What? You know, and so I've kind of had to check myself. And yeah, I was judging myself because I'm like, I don't know what the hell made you think that you were worth anything.
Why did you accept that?
Yeah. And so sometimes, a lot of times, writing it is one thing, reading it back, and depending on when you read it back, you're gonna have a totally different conversation with yourself.
Absolutely.
And you might have to give
I told
yourself
y'all
some
to
side
go
eyes.
back and listen to y'all Dear Diary
But
episode.
I think that could be a good thing because it's showing like, you know, some of your growth as well. I did have multiple journals, and then it'd be 1 page here and 1 page here. I'm down to just one journal is all gonna be in that one journal. I probably got about 30 journals with 1 page written in each of them. So I'm like, just stop.
I mean, I like the idea of actually going back and reading because in a time where I was just looking for a note that I had wrote, and then it was just like I stumbled across a journal entry, and I was like, "Oh, bitch, that's why your feelings not hurt." Because this person was only supposed to be this,
right,
and not, you know what I'm saying, more. So your feelings isn't hurt because it was just a part of the journey.
Listen,
right. Let me make a shout out to Jesse. We had that conversation that people may just be an assignment.
Yeah,
that don't mean they're gonna be with you for forever or whatever.
Your life for that season, for that moment in time.
Listen, my therapist be dropping gems. I be wanting to be like, pause, wait, let me finish.
Yeah,
writing that down.
Record them sessions.
Listen, she be
playing back and take notes after
real.
I be like, she did tell me don't push him away. Allow whatever's gonna happen. But he is your awakening.
Bring the cliff notes to the next episode.
Seriously.
Listen, I'll be like, bro, can I tip? She be like, yeah, you know my Cash App. Because what?
That's one thing that I definitely started doing differently. Like if I'm with somebody and then we break up, I'm gonna take only what I need to take. Right. Meaning like, what lessons did I learn? How, what about me? You know what I mean? What could I have done differently? What did I do that was just flat out dumb? What did I do right? You know what I mean? So I just started taking back what I need. The rest of it, you can have that, bro, because I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that with me. For what? So that's definitely was like a major
additional baggage.
A major thing for me. And just telling like I don't know how, a couple years ago I dated this guy. I told him it don't matter, like, because I knew that it wasn't gonna be much longer. And I told him, I want you to know something. When I leave this, I'm still gonna win.
Period.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna win.
Ain't that a button?
And I could tell he couldn't understand that what I was saying. Like, I'm gonna win because I had some healing that went on in this. I saw a pattern of men, and now I understand, like, okay, you the common denominator in this foolishness. So what you gonna do? You gonna have to stop being the common denominator. And I'm like, I'm gonna win. And at the end of it, I did. Even in the text message when I told him.
I remember that conversation.
Oh yeah, he called me a bitch. That's what it was. Because I called him a narcissistic asshole. He called me a bitch, and then I told him,
"Oh God,
fuck you and your mama for not swallowing me." Yeah, that was my response.
Wow.
Is there a button for that?
Yikes!
So yeah, and I meant it, and I blocked him, and that was for the first time in my life. Like I told you, I don't generally block people.
Right.
I deleted every text message, every picture. You know, sometimes you be trying to hold on. Well, I ain't gonna delete this yet. I deleted every possible way. And then when I saw him probably maybe 2 or 3 months after it happened, he got nothing from me. Like I was exercising. I saw we made like eye contact. But for me, I made an eye contact with somebody that I had never seen in my life. And so you've made contact with a person that you don't know on accident, but you just like, and I just turned around. I didn't give him no negativity. I want.
Who was that? Who did I erase from my life? Sugar. It was Sugar the shit. I completely erased.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it's just like if that felt good to me because like he was like I saw him like his surprised expression, but I was just I gave him nothing like. No energy, no anger, no nothing because I told you I was gonna win. I
That's a good place to be.
I meant that.
Because so many times we taking shit from a relationship that ain't even ours.
You're like, what did I do wrong? No, I ain't do shit wrong. Something was wrong with that motherfucker. That's how I was with him. I was like, I didn't do shit. I was sweet to him. I was good to him. No, fuck him. That's on him.
Listen, because I was a bag lady for a
His mama, 'cause she ruined his
long
ass.
time. I literally was a bag lady. Like, okay, I'm gonna take all of this with me, and I'm gonna just hold on to it. And then it was like
that shit heavy.
I was grown, like, bitch, bag lady by Erica Badu. What about a homeless lady?
Listen,
She told all the business.
Told
didn't she?
all of it.
I was like,
Read me
what?
from A to Z, snatched edges. Okay, I was like,
I was a full blown adult when I was like,
Yeah.
what?
You gonna miss your bus, sis?
I literally, and when I say I dropped everything, I dropped everything. Like, that ain't about a homeless lady. All right, cool. We just gonna
Let
take
it go.
all this off.
So,
I was a bag lady. Shit, up until recently. I've been carrying bags for a long time.
Man.
I rented a
Listen.
U-Haul. the bags got so heavy. I had to get a U-Haul.
for real.
I advise everyone to take it off. If you are a police officer, you have to take off your uniform after work. If you are a doctor, you take off your uniform. When I go home, I take off my wig. You know, just learn to just take it off.
I say my street clothes.
Listen,
Street clothes off.
Take off my shoes and my bra.
listen. During COVID, it was like, which one do I take off first? My bra, my mask, or my wig?
That mask, take that punk ass mask off.
As soon as I get in the car, all right, I can breathe now.
Listen, I advise everybody to take it off. Anything else you want to say about mental health or self-care?
Shout out to Ship. She said, I mastered the gift of no, and I've mastered rest.
Come on.
Yes.
Oh, that the gift of no is.
Absolutely. I'll just end on this note that self-care, while it is a luxury, it is priority. And a lot of times we view self-care as a luxury. Again, if I can afford to go on a trip, or if I can make time, then I'm going to take a bath, or whatever. And self-care, it varies in what it looks like, but it is a priority. So
I'm trying to find something real quick.
Ship said, mastering the gift of no, got rid of my extra bags.
Come on.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
No is a complete sentence.
absolutely.
There is no need for a follow-up, an explanation, a reason. No is a complete sentence.
And then a question for everybody individually: how has mental health impacted your life?
Can we real quick? Can I just quick play this? I saw it today. It's LaTanya Baker. A lot of people in the city know. I don't want to act right. Hold on. Dang it.
I have been transitioning and repositioning myself. So I used to try to implement
Put it all the way to the microphone.
self-care within my work life. Now I'm implementing my work life within self-care. I had to switch it around.
Love that.
And when I tell you it's such a difference in how I even move now, I was literally sitting on my couch the other day, just me and my dog. And I was just sitting there smiling. I was like, nobody's here but me. Why am I sitting here just smiling? Like, it felt weird for a minute. And I was like, oh yeah, peace of mind. That's what that is. So it just feels good to just sit around and just smile. I have been
Now, Jay Riley says self-care is me coming home and laying in my hammock for 15 minutes in the yard.
Yep.
Yes.
She live
We
in a
love
good
you too,
neighborhood.
Ship.
She live in a good neighborhood.
You ain't got no hammock in Burleigh.
Listen, if you better be up there in Burleigh. You better be on Burleigh Street, not Burleigh.
It's a Burleigh Road in Brookfield.
Make it right on Burley.
What self-care is like, you know how I see women always say, do you who else, you know, sit in front of their house for 20 minutes before they go in, sit in their car.
Listen, okay.
I think that's because you preparing yourself.
You know them ugly ass kids is in the house.
You gotta go home and you gotta go in there and take care of them.
It ain't even it ain't even the kids that's in the house. For me, it's just going in the house and knowing that as soon as I get in there, stuff needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Or
as
not.
As soon as but that I have to train my mind and train myself to be like, it's gonna be there.
Yeah,
it's gonna be there. But that's me sitting in front of my house for 15, 20 minutes. Like, dang, as soon as I go in the house, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. So let me just sit here and just be for 10, 15, 20 minutes so that I can, you know, relax myself.
Yep.
And get ready to go in the house and do X, Y, Z.
Or going into work. Sometimes you gotta play a little boosie before you go in.
You gotta amp yourself.
It was to me speeding out. It was me speeding out the parking lot playing "Move, bitch, get out the way." Like,
no, I need some. I need some music going into work. Because I know Karen is right there waiting.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Karen.
We have to honor those moments of pause whenever we can get them. And whether they're planned or spontaneous, but honor them either way.
Yes.
Definitely.
Ship said self-care includes naps and coloring and meditation. Self-care is coming home and being mute for hours.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially for my job, because I work in a call center, so I don't want to talk to nobody.
It is power in the pause. Absolutely.
Yes.
It is power in the pause.
What was I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
Oh no. And it can be a quick response. How has mental health impacted your life? For me, I see it as something I've overcome, and I'm still overcoming because, like I said before, I was clinically diagnosed with depression, and it's a healing for me. So
for me, it's something I'm still working through, still learning and growing and glowing through it. There is no.
You are a survivor. Or no, it was a thriver.
You is a thriver. Meanwhile, the C ain't even paying attention and shit.
After he bullied me that whole time, you are a thriver.
Here.
But yeah, it's just something. Mental health for me right now is just something that I'm working through. And I always feel like it's gonna be a forever journey. But right now, the journey is a little bit more heavier than I'm sure it will be down the road.
Come on. So it's only heavy right now.
Right. Only right now.
I like that.
I think it's just admitting it. You know, we always afraid to talk about mental health or admit it. That, you know, we all got some issues.
That having that title or that stigma on you.
Yeah. So I think it's just finally getting to the point saying, you know what, I'm crazy as fuck and I need to figure out how to deal with this shit.
Man, listen, okay.
I think for me, one is my life's work, and I never imagined it would be, but understanding that mental health is health. And sometimes, shout out to Kanye, but sometimes your mental might be gentle, and that's okay too. But understanding that ebbs and flows. So life is all about ebbs and flows. And so the mental health encompasses all. So it all works together.
Yeah.
Come on, 8 and 28.
Oh, no.
Come on, Tommy.
What?
I was thinking about that when you interrupted me earlier. I couldn't put my words together as far as what it was. I'm not saying that you interrupted me and it was a bad thing. You were trying to take a dig at me. But I was preparing for this moment. I don't know how to put my words into it, but giving myself to people who aren't ready.
Okay.
I like that. One of y'all read, because y'all know.
Chip says, I was drugged and my mental capacity was completely removed. I really lost my mind after being hospitalized for 9 months. God gave me my mind back. Yes, I have my days, but that's where my God and prayer and silence comes to get me back on track.
Okay. Shout out to you. You a little late, jelly bean.
What's
Hey,
up?
Change your lolly.
You are
All right, y'all. Let's wrap this up because Jelly Bean done into the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna say
Crystal,
it.
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that was.
Thank
that
you
was
so much.
Thank
when
you for sharing it.
and
Thank
if
you for bringing the people to us.
yeah, I'm saying if you ever want to come on and share your full story, please do reach out.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Your story is just as important as all of ours. So we're gonna get into these DNRs. We're gonna pull the plug. What y'all pulling the plug on this week?
Oh, I guess I'll start.
I didn't mean that.
You did. Look directly at me. I'm pulling the plug on giving people parts of me that I don't, letting people take parts of me. That's what it is. I'm letting people take parts of me. So, like Wrain said, reclaiming my time. So,
Period. What about you?
I'm pulling the plug on not letting that word lazy affect me.
yes.
And be okay with laying down all day if that's what I want to do. So
Tommy.
Can you come back?
Wrain, you got one?
I think I'm pulling the plug on my laptop. When I'm clocked out, I'm out.
Period.
Come on.
Yes.
That's what I'm
love
talking
that.
about.
Okay.
yes.
So I have a couple. Because this has been stuff that's been bothering me. I'm pulling the plug on matching energy because if that's not my energy, that's just not my energy. I'm pulling the plug on the triggers that I've already healed from, still trying to trigger me. And I'm pulling the plug on feeling guilty about taking time for myself.
Yep.
Tommy.
I am pulling the plug on allowing the emotions of someone else to dictate my emotion.
Yes. Love that.
Y'all better be
good,
fired
Tommy.
today.
Yes.
Come on for the healing words. Yes. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. And we out just like that. Let's pull this plug.
Yikes. I love is when women decide that something is no longer serving them and they get the fuck up out of it. Like, this is no longer meant for me. Got a blast. I love that. Like, I love when women choose themselves, put themselves first. Like, I love that. Girl, look at you. Realizing who the fuck you are and realizing I'm not going to deal with this any longer. I need to get up out of this. I need to do what's best for me. And you did that shit. And that's why you a boss ass bitch, because you did that shit. You did that shit. Never forget that you did that shit.